Hello, and welcome to the Questlog Club, a book club media share excuse to finish more games. My name is Robin.
My name is Sammy. Are you washed in the blood of the Lamb?
And I'm Deidra.
So this has been our first episode doing a full 1 month break, which means there's a little bit more to catch up on. So, Sam, how was your month? How were things?
My month was pretty solid. I got what is it? I've been working on the Castlevania PS2 video. And that's about like halfway done at the time of this recording. It'll probably be out before this podcast goes up. And then outside of that, I've been watching more movies. I watched like First Reform for the first time, which is
you mentioned that.
Yeah, crazy movie. I didn't know anything about that going into it. I somehow avoided, like, the only image I saw was like the one that people use for memes with like Ethan Hawke putting on the vest, if you know what I'm talking about.
No, all I really know is Ethan Hawke
Okay,
as a church-going man.
So I won't say anything else. But so that's the only thing I knew going into it. But outside of that, I didn't know like what the actual film itself was about. And that is the better way to experience it, in my opinion. It's very...
Okay, cool.
It's very interesting. It's very effective. It's good.
No, I always love stuff like that. Not this last month, but like when I went and Abigail with friends, the spooky kid movie.
Yeah.
My friends didn't know what it was about, and so I was just like, just avoid the trailers because that movie's marketing shows its hand way too much.
Don't they spoil like the shit out of it?
Well, it just everything about it. The fact that the movie's called Abigail.
Yeah.
The marketing shows that she's a spooky kid. Like, the only time we make a horror movie with the character's
name
as the title, the character is the monster.
Yeah, it would be like calling The Omen like the kid's name or something.
Anyways, didn't do that this last month, so it doesn't really matter. But I'm just saying, I love stuff like that. Very fun to just go in cold and then just kind of go with the ride.
Let it wash over you, you know? I get you.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I got back into FF14, so that's been funny.
Really? I wonder why.
Then that also segues perfectly into Deidra's month.
Well, I was going to bring up one last thing, but I mean, we can.
No. What is what's up?
With Dawn Trail coming out, I'm like not even close to Dawn Trail. I'm like back in Stormblood. I'm still over there. But I was like, friends and people on Twitter were talking about like Dawn Trail and shit. And I was like, sometimes I just get this urge to heal people in video games and get yelled at by tanks. And, this scratched that itch. This scratched that need. Though nobody yelled. Everybody's been very nice. Everybody's very nice in that game.
That's good.
Generally speaking, anytime I go into a dungeon, even if I'm like fucking up or just not playing my role optimally or whatever, somebody will just be like, oh yeah, this is like how you do this. And I'm like, oh, thank you. So that's always nice. It's always so interesting how engaging that game's story has become to me, because I remember when I first started like ARR and stuff, I did not care. I didn't care at all. Mm-hmm. And now that I'm not even really into Stormblood proper. I think I'm like at the end of the patches. I had to segue a bit because I realized I was playing, I was on Scholar instead of White Mage, which is more what I actually wanted to play. Mm-hmm. So I switched it up, and I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to play White Mage now, and that took, like, hours because I had to fucking grind all the quests.
Mm-hmm.
But I did it.
What's sorry, because completely uninformed, don't know, never FF14 once in my life. What's the big difference between Scholar and White Mage's playstyle?
So Scholar is more like a healer DPS combo, because the way it works is that you are able to summon, like... The way it majorly works is that you are able to summon like little creatures to help you out, help you heal, help you fight at least. Like they'll fight for you while like you are healing other people and stuff like that. So it kind of does certain things for you. It's pretty easy. And I was like, I want a little more challenge. I want to have to worry about those heals and not really have to depend. So like the difference between that and White Mage is more like it is all on you. You are not summoning really other stuff unless things change later within the like tree. I'm not like that. I'm like level 40, I think, into it now.
Yeah, not really. Another big difference is that white mages are essentially there's 4 healers in the game. They're kind of broken into 2 different categories of like a pure or regen healer, and then more barrier healers. White mages are pure healers, so that they have a lot of very straightforward healing tools, a lot of regeneration effects. They're good at picking people back up, whereas scholars have a lot of barriers and damage mitigation. They're better at like kind of stopping people from getting low in the first place, kind of a thing.
Okay, yeah, interesting.
So that's been very relaxing. It's been nice as like I need a break kind of game. I throw a couple hours into it and then I get back to what I was doing or whatever. Yeah, not really much else to say about that one. Okay, I did remember one other thing, and I won't try to go too long about them, but I normally don't really keep up with anime seasons anymore, and it's not because I don't like anything, it's because just, like, there's so much shit that it is genuinely really hard for me to, like, keep up.
Yeah, I mean, I have a dedicated night once a week that me
Yeah.
and some friends get together and we watch stuff, and that's like the only way I keep up with new seasons.
So when something catches my attention from an anime season, it's either something I'm like, fuck yeah, or I'm either like in, or I am like watching something with somebody, like specifically, right? So this season, Twilight Out of Focus aired, which is a yaoi, and
Yeah. I'm also watching this, which is why I got excited. I'm also watching Twilight.
It's so cute. It's so cute. I love in episode 1.
It's been very sweet.
The way the main character, or the one, I guess because it splits between I think like 3 different groups, but like the way one of the first couples, one of them just like yearns for the other is so adorable. It's so like I love watching yaoi shit when like they write characters yearning really well, because it's cute.
Yeah.
And I think the focus on them all being like movie freaks is like very specially targeted to me specifically. So like I'm in.
No, it's been really fun to watch so far. Yeah, no, because I've watched not a lot. I mean, watched a decent amount of romance anime. But I generally, due to me being more into femme presenting folks, I haven't dabbled too much into yaoi. But yeah, no, this show's been really cute.
I can recommend you some very good stuff if you want, but that is up to you.
Oh yeah, we will get there.
Yeah.
We worry not.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, I feel that because there's a lot of people write off yaoi in the same way they write off yuri, where they're like, oh, there's a lot of tropes or blah blah blah. But it's like it's about what's between the tropes. Not everything is gonna be a love stage, and even then, love stage is pretty tropey. It's all about what's there. It's about peak. That's kind of the main show. And then last thing, started Panzer Dragoon, because that's probably going to be the next, after Castlevania, that's probably going to be the next like video thing. So I won't talk too much about it, but I will say I suck ass at Panzer Dragoon, the first one. That game is fucking hard. Like goddamn.
Yeah, I never tried it, but I've always heard about them. What is it? Is it just because you mentioned there was some control funky likeness on your end, but
so I mean it's a Saturn game from like 95, and so like I'm pretty sure it was released before I think they released a controller with an analog stick for it or something, I think.
Okay.
And so if they ever did, I don't know a ton about the Saturn, to be completely honest, but so I'm mapping the controls and I'm like, okay, it's a D-pad focus game or whatever for like a shooter like this. Okay. So I get into it and like it feels like it's not bad. It's very clearly made for the controller that like it is made for, and in that I think that's fine. It's just very stiff and it throws you into it. Like part of it reminds me of playing like Ikaruga for the first time, where like it just kind of throws you in and you kind of just like, it's easy to figure out. The controls are really simple. it's just there's a lot of shit. Like that is a shooter where like you are encouraged to turn the camera to fight things behind you and to the side of you. So you have to constantly keep like you have to keep and there's a little compass at the top right that like shows you where enemies are around you, and you have to keep like constant awareness of that. So it's not just like
like you just always have to keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, like you constantly have to be like aware, and if you're not, you'll die. Like it is, and it's been that kind of learning curve. Like it is hard, and there's a learning curve to it, but once you get it down, it gets a lot easier. It's just learning those kind of quirks and learning those things about it. Initially I was like, am I going to be able to fucking beat this? But thinking more about it, like now that I know what I know, I'm like, okay, now I can like optimize this level better. And the levels aren't long. I think it's like, my friend told me it's like about 7 levels or something. And I got through like 3, even with continues. So if I can get it, cause you have to, if you run out of continues, it's one of those, like you're restarting the whole game type games. So
very arcade.
Yeah, it is an arcade ass game. I hear the second one is a lot easier, like you have unlimited continues and stuff. But I'll see when I get there. But I'm gonna beat this. I'm committed to beating it now. Like it's not that long. If I can like get better at it, I can set aside like a good hour, just record all of it. Also, the story is really interesting. It's one of those games where they made up like a fake language to like have the characters communicate in, and it kind of builds out this cool world. It's very interesting. I don't really understand much about it yet, but like that's why I'm really excited, especially to get to like Panzer Dragoon Saga, because like I hear that game is pretty fucking nuts with it, especially with the world building.
Cool. Yeah, no, that sounds super cool. Again, I don't know a lot about the Panzer Dragoons, but I've heard very good things.
Yeah, the music also rips. Episode 1's like, the song in episode 1 is like my fucking, that's an all-timer. That shit rules. I'm a sucker for a good violin track. Outside of that, not much else though. That's pretty much it.
And alluded to it earlier, but Deidra, how is the Dawn Trail?
Dawn Trail.
Dawn Trail?
That's it. Yeah, I've been enjoying it.
Okay, yeah, that's good, because when I texted you about it, you said you were feeling a little iffy at that time. Has that changed at all, or no?
No, but it's the kind of thing where this Final Fantasy XIV is the service game that I have chosen, essentially. I have whatever sort of brain damage that allows me to enjoy MMOs. So it is, I think, a case of this is more content for the game that I am married to.
That's fair.
And as a result, I will consume it, and I will probably enjoy it even if I think there's mistakes. Even then, like, that's not to say it's a bad expansion, I feel. I think the big thing I'm the most disappointed by is job design.
Yeah, what has been your issues? What's changed about job design that's not clicking for Dawn Trail?
Nothing, and that's the problem.
Oh, okay.
Every job kind of plays the same as it's been. The highlight, I guess, is that Dawn Trail added 2 new jobs, Pictomancer and Viper, and they're both pretty neat. Pictomancer, I actually would probably consider the best design job that the game has seen in a while.
Okay.
Its abilities are very satisfying, and it's the kind of thing where it's like almost kind of open-ended problem solving, where you don't need to go about it super rigidly, and like kind of just presents you with, here are these tools. The problem that you are supposed to solve is like, how do I put these all in cooldown and reduce the boss's HP to 0? And the way you go about that isn't necessarily immediately obvious, which makes finding the solution, in my opinion, very satisfying. As well, it has a lot of resource management, where if you're playing the class properly, you spend solid blocks of time not doing damage to the boss, because you just need to like set up your other stuff. And finding out where to fit that in and not get punished for it is very satisfying.
And that is Pictomancer is DPS, or what
yes.
role? Okay.
Yeah, so they're both DPS. Pictomancers are casters. They're magic DPS while Vipers are melee. I'll get into Viper in a bit, but I do think it's neat. But yeah, it just does feel a little lame to kind of be doing the same thing I was doing for the past 2 years.
Yeah, that's fair. A refresh is, especially with these forever games, having variety is important.
Agreed.
Yeah. Aside from that, I enjoyed the story. I've seen a lot of people not enjoy it, but I had a good time with it.
Well, because it's a cooldown, because the last big expansion was
Like the end of
the
an arc,
payoff.
right?
Yeah, it was the end of an arc, so now they have to chill before they can just jump back into it. Or
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's the issue that most people have.
Okay.
I think I don't want to spoil too much, so I'll just say that I think the story, the writing really does not assume a lot of the reader of it.
okay,
It is quite blunt. And it maybe takes more time to say things than it probably should. It likes to dwell on things, and that kind of throws the pacing
Yeah,
off.
it's one of those where they like over-explain a thing that they just don't really have to. Is that what you mean?
I love Persona 5.
True. Persona 4 too. Fucking goddamn.
This is to kind of say that the first half of it, I think, kind of drags. And there's a pivot in the back half of it that I think some people I've seen, it gets weird in the back half. I really liked the weirdness. I liked the back half a lot.
That's good.
Cool. Yeah, I won't ask for details here, obviously, but cool.
Sure.
Good to know.
Aside from that, I would say the encounter design so far has been absolutely fantastic, and I've loved the music of this expansion.
Hell yeah. Got some of those like Spanish guitars in there.
Yeah, oh man, there's one zone that's just like kind of a cowboy zone.
Ooh, okay.
And it's just got fucking sad cowboy music as the zone music, and I love it every time.
Fuck yeah,
Love
let's
it.
go. That's the fucking stuff.
I do want to touch as well. I want to finish this by talking about the new job, Viper, which is very interesting to me. So they're like a agile 2-sword wielding DPS, and they're very fast.
Yeah.
It's a very simple job, but the way it's explained in game is awful. It's dreadful. The ability tooltips basically spend a lot of words trying to explain very simple concepts. So it bothered me trying to learn it until I finally got it down. And the reason I wanted to save this last is because I wanted to segue into something else I've been doing this month, and that's playing a little indie release called Zenless Zone Zero.
Oh, did you actually picked it up?
I have played it. I've to take a break from Dawn Trail. I've been playing some of it, and good lord, does that game like spending a lot of words explaining things to you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we
classic.
are gonna talk about this more at some point.
In the vague future.
In the vague future, I bounced off this so hard.
That's completely understandable.
I bounced off Zenless so hard. But I want to hear about you with Zenless.
I don't want to spend too much time talking about it because I feel like I've already been talking for a while.
That's fine.
And this is ultimately
No,
supposed
we're
to be a
here for.
Bioshock 2 show.
Yeah, it's all good. We're probably going to be talking about Bioshock 2 for a while anyway. Like,
Yeah.
Fair enough. I think the most poignant thing I can say about it is that I really want to like this game.
Okay.
I feel that. I feel that so hard.
I love the setting and vibes that they have set up. I personally don't like the character designs, but that's for very personal reasons. And I have no doubt in my mind that like a year or two down the line, there's going to be some character that gets released for this game that I'm going to adore.
Yeah, there'll be a girl with big robot arms. It'll happen. Don't worry.
It's going to happen.
It's inevitable.
The gameplay, when it works, is pretty fun. I've played worse. But for a game that I think kind of touts its combat and playable characters, that game does not want you to fight things. It's impressive. There's just so much
That's kind of the
dialogue.
impression I got.
I don't feel comfortable talking about the story necessarily, because I got bored of it like an hour or two in and started skipping all the dialogue. There's just so much talking in this game, and it's...
There's a reason why
It's frustrating.
Devil May Cry games don't have a lot of dialogue.
And I don't know, for me at least, I I've tried the other like big recent MiHoYo games, Genshin Impact and Honkai Star Rail. I don't know if these are written by the same or different people, but I have liked none of these stories.
I think it's wild how much more interesting Star Rail is. That's the one that kind of got me for a minute. Because, like, otherwise I've bounced pretty hard. Like, Genshin did nothing for me, and I just didn't really play more of it. And then Zenless I downloaded, and I like saw gameplay footage, and I was like, do I really want to play this? And I was like, no, not really. And I just... the only thing that could maybe get me for it is the hot wolf guy, but that's like it. Outside of that, like Star Rail, I'm not saying Star Rail has like a great story, but like the main character and their relationship with like Kafka and March 7th and shit is like, and just the whole like intergalactic Star Rail thing is like way more interesting and captivating as like a base premise.
I checked out almost instantly from Star Rail because I despised March.
Damn!
And it was becoming increasingly obvious that she was like important. And I'm like, I don't care about this story anymore.
Deidra, this is gonna be our first podcast battle. I gotta be real. Listen.
You can like Star Rail. That's
but
fine.
You have to like it.
A decided character flaw I have is that I'm incredibly picky about character designs.
Your two opinions on March 7th are like the least surprising thing I've heard from each of you. Like this is like, okay, this makes perfect sense.
It's true. It's true.
That's how you know we're not skinwalkers. We are who we claim we.
What's your opinion on March 7th?
No, I'll just hold up a picture of her, and I'll just get a respective like, aw, and ugh, and like, okay, good.
You're you.
But yeah, I'm trying really hard to like Zenless. Mm-hmm. I want to keep playing it because I want to keep trying to pull for the Shark Girl because I'm this far in. I'm not even that interested in her, but I got the wolf guy, and I think they work really well together. So.
Everybody, apparently he's like a really hard pull, and everybody keeps fucking getting him.
I just got him off like the basic boy banner. I don't know. I guess I just got lucky. I hate these games.
Yeah, so I mean, really, I'm gonna actually focus on this when we do eventually talk about it. Every time I've played a MiHoYo game, my biggest takeaway has been, gosh, I wish this was a real game that I could buy and just enjoy the characters.
Yeah, I kind of wish it was like a kind of like... Yeah. I wish it was like a Cygames situation where like they made Grand Blue Relink into like a real-ass video game.
Relink is pretty fun.
Yeah, which is... I haven't played it yet, but it's a thing where like Relink is like a real-ass video game that you could just go buy. Like... My issue with these, like Star Rail, I think, again, is the closest I've gotten where I've been like, damn, this is like actually pretty good. I really fuck with this. But then it's like, oh, wait, yeah, it's also still like a gotcha nightmare. So... Yeah, no,
I just give me something I can buy and play and enjoy these characters and not have to play a slot machine in order to get the cool character. I really don't enjoy that design.
Like, I'll play the...
Can I...
Oh, sorry.
Can I tell you the Star Rail character I liked, and it's going to make complete sense?
Yeah.
There's only one Star Rail character I like. It's the lady with the guitar.
This makes sense.
Hey, Kamen Rider Ryuki is in that now.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, there's a I think his name is Firefly. There's a girl who has a big dude who looks like a writer.
Yeah.
Huh.
I'm saying, yeah, like I know what I'm talking about. I haven't gotten to Ryuki yet. I have no idea who the fuck you're talking about.
Well,
I don't even know.
With that, writer. I can actually, unless are you done, Deidra, or can I take the rails here, as it were?
It was all MMO shit. I spent a month playing MMO slop. I don't know what you want from me.
Hey, that's fine. That is all I want. Is for you to enjoy your time and come here and talk about it, because
I have leveled too many things to 100.
Yeah, that's fine. So I finished Kamen Rider Fies, and so now I'm in my month of Kamen Rider ban. That's what I do whenever I finish a series of Rider. I go on a 1 month no new Rider to keep myself still interested and make it something that I want to do and not make it feel like a chore.
The writer detox.
Going on Common Rider abstinence, like.
Yeah, no. I was my original joke was going to be I'm Kamen Rider celibate. With the exception being whatever is currently airing. Like I'm still watching Gotchard, and I'll watch Gav, even though Gav won't debut within the window of No Rider. Because, it's only half an hour once a week.
Oh, did you hear?
Yes, I did hear that the first...
Did you hear that 3 of the episodes
Yeah,
leaked?
I'll get there eventually. I don't care. I'm not going to watch it right now.
Yeah.
But,
That's fair.
okay, 'cause again, I'll just watch it when it comes out. I'm not that hasty. Like, I'm still enjoying Gotchard. I'll let that wrap up before I get too caught up in Gav stuff. That being said, literally before we were recording, I was watching a YouTube video that was a commercial for the new Gav Henshin belt with the little toys that you put in it. So
I saw that.
Looks good. It's a little guy, and you crank him, and then you put the toy in his mouth, and then you pop it, and then it comes out, and then you henshin. It's not a driver, it's a henshin belt this time.
Yeah, which is cool. It's a cool different thing. I always wonder what the boardroom meetings for stuff like this is like, just for like how they get like the sequence like worked out, because they have to obviously work it out as like a toy thing too.
Yeah, I do wonder what
And
comes
so-
first. Toy gimmick. I'm guessing toy gimmick comes first, and then they go from there.
My assumption would be it probably depends on the showrunner. It probably depends on the show.
Yeah.
Would be my guess, but maybe I'm wrong. Like I feel, because it feels like certain shows, like obviously the focus is there, but like I would imagine some they probably care a lot less. Like I got to be real with you, I can't even remember like. Is Agito's even anything? I feel like they glance by it so fucking fast.
Agito's toy gimmick? Well, it's probably more focused on like figures, I would guess, because with Agito you have Agito.
It's the forms,
Yeah, you have
right?
red, blue, Trinity, Burning, Shining. You have G3, G4, G3X, G3 Mild.
And it's just funny, right? Because like when you watch Agito itself, the toy gimmicks are like the least memorable thing.
Yeah, no.
Like
that show
about
doesn't
that show.
care.
Like it's because it's ran by who the fuck was the show?
It's Inoue. It's a Inoue show.
Yeah. Don Brothers.
And
That dude hates.
Kamen
That
Rider
dude fucking
Fize.
hates toys and Fize. Yeah, that dude.
Which
fucking hates.
Fize is very like Fize is really funny because Fize, Kuga, and Delta all have not Kuga, Kaiza. Fize, Kuga, Kaiza, Delta all have
Trust me, I
like
think of Kuga all the time too.
little exactly. They all have like little weapons that are like household items, like a camera or a laser pointer. So Deidra, for context, Fize has a camera that he punches people with. So it's kind of like a season built around like Spy Gear toys, basically, is like the best comparison I could make. So yeah, finished that. So because I finished that, I'm going through some anime as my in-between. I'm watching Black Lagoon.
Yes,
That's been fun. I'm a few episodes into that.
it's peak.
Yeah, again, it's just, I was talking to Sam about this. It's just better Wanted. That's all it is. And just enjoy it for that.
It's Crazy Woman Kino. It's peak.
Yeah, no, like, so Deidra, do you know Black Lagoon?
I think so. Is that the one with like, I don't know how to say it. The one lady who I've seen a lot? That's very specific. I know.
Yeah, so the
Red
yes,
hair.
no. The concept of the show is a salaryman gets held hostage and beat up by a bad bitch, and it changes his life.
I see.
He's so real for that, by the way. Rock is such a real protagonist. What if your life sucked, and what if a bad bitch just beat the fuck out of you until you were different?
Shit, I wish.
Yes. And then the other show I'm watching and forgot / kind of didn't mention because I wanted to get Sam's raw reaction to this is, so sometimes you have to take a moment to look in the mirror and just think, fuck, I could be way more annoying. So I'm watching Haruhi Suzumiya right now.
Oh my god. Oh my god. doing the dance? You doing
For the
dance
first
yet?
time. I'm not doing the dance yet. I'm only a couple episodes in, and it's 28, which I did not realize, which isn't that long. But yeah, this has been so funny to watch because I absolutely know people who, like, I definitely knew people growing up who watched this and were like, oh, I'm gonna be like Haruhi because she is like I say this lovingly, the most fucking annoying character on earth.
She is. She is. It's so
dreadful.
She's the worst.
Horrible.
She is the fucking worst. Like all the time. It's so funny. Have you gotten to like what like the real conceit of the show is yet, or no?
Yes, I have gotten to the actual shoe drop that Haruhi Suzu, which makes sense for why the show, like, again, the male protagonist is there, but he does not matter.
Yes.
And the show would appeal to women because Haruhi is a Mary Sue. She is one of the biggest anime Mary Sues in existence, and you know what? I love her for it. I love her. She's the worst, most annoying fucking character. We need more Haruhi and less Kirito.
There's, what is it? Haruhi has such a special fucking memory in my heart because I knew people in high school who like did the dance on like the regular. Like they learned that shit.
Oh, I'm sure.
Fucking pat. There was I'm trying to remember. There was, I think, I think we had like an Asian music club or something at our high school. I wasn't in it, but like I knew a few people who were. And I remember one of our rallies, I think they like flat out like did a bunch of dances from a bunch of different anime and shit.
Good,
and that was, and I'm pretty sure,
love.
And I'm pretty sure that was one of them. And I was like, oh shit. And everybody was like, what the fuck is this? Like no one knew what they were doing. So everybody was like, this is embarrassing. And I was like, oh shit, that's Haruhi. I know what that is.
For a second, I thought you were going to say, oh shit, that goes hard.
I clapped when I saw the Haruhi dance. I haven't finished Haruhi, but I watched up to the big shoe drop moment, and I remember just being like, damn, that's crazy, and then I didn't continue it.
Yeah, which I think is like the end of episode 2 or something like that.
I swear to God, I watched more than that. I feel like it was like episode 4 or 5. Might be.
Yeah, because they reveal what's up with Haruhi.
Was it episode 2?
The end of the second episode.
But isn't there like a whole episode where they focus on it a little more? Like there's like.
In the third episode, that's where everyone breaks down what's going on. So that's when you have like, I think it's the third one, maybe it's the fourth, where they have the whole gang, and this one says she's an alien. The other one says that she's from the future, and the third one is an Esper.
Yeah, I remember there's like a character, or no, I remember very specifically there's an episode where Kyo is like inside the school at night with Haruhi, and the setting itself starts like breaking down.
Okay, that might be a little bit later than where I just finished episode 3. Yeah.
Okay, I won't say any more than that then. I just remember that very like explicitly in my mind, but I don't remember when the fuck that happened, so I have no idea if I'm even remembering it properly. Like it's been years.
No, it sounds right.
Okay.
Yeah, Haruhi goes off the chain. But I'm trying to think outside of that if there's anything I have been doing, and not really. Other than, of course, the subject of today's episode, Bioshock 2. I cannot believe this game has the goal to be set in the 1960s and have a character storyline be about them overcoming their prejudice towards other people, and the character overcoming their prejudices is a black woman. That's fucking crazy. That is insane.
Yup, that sure was a fucking choice.
I wanted to do a little history lesson with Grace Holloway. Grace Holloway, the character in question, who again is the only black woman, the only black character in the game. Her story is about her being prejudiced towards Delta, and then you don't kill her, and she's like, wow, maybe you're all right.
I fucking hated.
So keep in mind, this woman would have grown up in segregated schools. She would have grown up around sundown towns, and she is the only character who, when speaking to Delta, gonna get a little heavy here, but it's just the truth of American history and just the truth of inconsiderate writing. Like, I like genuinely not considering how you are writing your characters and where you are applying like their dialogue to like who they are as a person and how those two things intersect, because she is the only character who invokes the images of lynch mobs.
Yeah.
Like very directly talks about stringing up Delta, and she is the only black character. Like that is crazy. Like again, literally would have grown up in and around sundown towns, because she didn't grow up in Rapture. No one has grown up in Rapture except for the little sisters and the big sisters. Like she was an adult by the time she got to the city.
For me, it's the fact that like because you go around, you get the audio logs for like her entire thing, right? And all of them are basically her saying, hey, I left the surface world and came to Rapture because Andrew Ryan promised me like that, essentially like that bigotry like that would not be the norm. You know, it's the libertarian promise. Racism is not real in my domain. But, you know, it still happens, obviously, because people are, you know, bigoted and prejudiced and shit. And that's an interesting start. But then they have the writing be, hey, Delta, you're a freak. I'm going to fucking hang you in the streets. It's interesting to make a character whose entire like thing is that they are escaping bigotry from the surface, and then trying to make them out to be like
a bigot.
You're like a bigot towards big daddies, which does not feel comparable in the same way at all.
Especially because like it would be different if we knew who Delta was before he was a big daddy.
Yeah, because I think they kind of go into it with the Stanley stuff, but not enough to matter. Like, I don't care about Delta as a character.
I think all you really find out is that you just kind of... Delta came in from the surface and, like, stumbled upon Rapture by accident and then got stuffed into a big daddy.
Yeah, he's Johnny Topside is the name.
John Bioshock.
Yeah, and also, like, the other issue is, like, they don't... Like, it's difficult because, like, Delta isn't presented as a human at any point.
No.
He is presented as a big daddy. Big daddies are presented as inhuman because they are grafted into their suits. We don't even know if they have, like, an actual face under their helmets. So you just, like... They're presented as these alienated things.
Delta's the exception because he was a prototype, so they hadn't grafted, like, the suits on yet. Because he can take off his helmet and stuff.
Does he take off his helmet?
At the very start.
At the very, very start.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He has to
that's right.
For him to shoot himself in the head.
For him to get shot in the head, yeah.
Okay. I realize this is way less serious of a complaint. But it seriously bothers me that the game opens with Delta shooting himself in the head. And then there's like, if I remember correctly, there's like a 10-year gap and then he's alive?
So the way that's explained is that Eleanor used the little sisters to find his body to get
stuff it in a Vita chamber
sample.
Yeah,
and so the Vita chamber found like his genetic DNA code or whatever fucking bullshit they made up for that to work. And then one day he's back.
But I feel like if that's the case, nobody in Rapture dies.
Like at the end when they're like, oh my god, like Delta, you're dying, and then who the fuck talks about blunt force trauma? Lamb goes like, don't kill him with trauma. Let him like basically starve to death or whatever.
No, she's not trying to starve him. She's trying to put him in a coma.
That's what it was.
So she's trying to make him unconscious.
Yeah.
So that, which kind of makes sense because then he wouldn't actually be dying.
Which he would just eventually die. Yeah, but he can't, like, they can't physically kill him. Like, they can't hurt him or he'll just respawn. And I was just like, okay, so how does... Like, if that's the case, isn't everybody kind of just immortal then?
Right.
Like,
I would only say it's lesser because I have this point of reference, but it's a lesser version of the Borderlands 2 problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, like, I guess there's kind of a... I guess, okay, because, like, I can suspend my disbelief. I'm not, like, a fucking... You know, I'm not going to nitpick the shit out of this. It's more just, like, in Borderlands, it is played up as a gag about capitalism.
Well, no, I also mean specifically in Borderlands 2 that Hyperion...
Yeah.
Handsome Jack runs Hyperion.
But also, I feel like that's the joke, because he doesn't take you seriously.
Okay, that's fair.
So it's a thing where, like, that also could be a complaint there, but I think that's more, like, the point that he's overconfident and very dumb. Whereas here, it's like, I don't know, I feel like Lamb, like, shouldn't you just shut off the Vita chambers at some point then? I don't know. Can you?
Yeah, no, it's a muddy one for sure. Across the board, this game's morality system falls on its face so hard. So I mean, you have the Grace Holloway, which we've already talked about, and then you have the other two examples being a child trafficker.
Yeah, I killed that guy. I killed that guy immediately.
But you shouldn't kill him. That's bad. Even though, okay, I'll actually get back to him in a second.
Yeah.
And then you have another guy who is asking you to kill
He
him.
begs you to kill him. All his fucking audio logs are like, listen, my body is not mine anymore. I've lost my fucking mind. Please kill me. Please kill me.
I remember the first time I played this game being so confused because I just assumed that killing him was the good option.
Yeah,
because he's asking you to.
No, so from what I found out for the endings, the one leeway they give you is that you can kill one of them. And so I'm assuming that is the one that's supposed to be the moral choice. But to me, leaving the manipulative child trafficker alive is evil.
No,
that's
same.
a bad option.
No, it is a bad option.
I left him alive because I just figured that's what the game wanted me to, but I walked away feeling like...
No, that's what I did too. That's what I did too.
I succumbed to my base impulses. I killed that dude. I fucking hated that guy. That guy was so annoying. I was like, you are a piece of shit and you suck ass. You're like, when I get in that room, I'm going to get you.
What bothered me about him, and maybe this is petty, is I feel like they listed off a bunch of bad shit really genuinely evil shit he did, and then followed it up with like, oh yeah, and also he sold you out too, Delta. And it's like, I don't even care about that. I care way more about all that shit you led with.
No, he is genuinely a child trafficker. He kidnapped kids and gave them to scientists to make little sisters. Like, that is crazy.
They wrote they were like, how do we make the most evil dude of all time? Just cartoonishly fucking evil. He might as well have been in that fucking little train car area just twirling a mustache.
Yeah.
Like, he is so fucking evil. And then they're like, but if you kill him, you're the bad guy.
You're the bad
like,
guy, actually.
It's like, what the fuck is your problem?
Not only that, am I mistaken? Is that dude like not technically the ultimate villain of the game because he sold Sophia Lamb's daughter off? So he's like literally the the most important character in the game. Like if he did not exist, this game's story would not happen.
Yeah, because like Lamb is a piece of shit, but she you can tell that she does care about her daughter. She's just evil. So it's like there's a little more there that's like kind of interesting. I just don't think they go far enough with some of it.
No, they don't really. She talks, but she's not really
a character.
She's not really there.
Yeah. It's weird.
She's more a voice.
And there's like ideas that I feel like they could have explored, but they don't. It feels like she's just because like Andrew Ryan is like a dude. He is like a character that you like come to hate.
Yeah.
But like Lamb is very like, oh, this is my society. The family will get you, and that's like every chapter.
Which is a shame because you could have done something with that, having a matriarchal figure versus having a patriarchal one. Like you could have done something interesting there.
Oh, I
and
find
they
it.
Don't.
Well, so like I was looking at interviews after I finished the game because I was like, there has to be more to this. There has to be like Lamb is very explicitly a take on like Jim Jones. Is it Jonestown or Jamestown? I forget the name of the
Jonestown. I believe.
Yeah, so Jim Jones, Jonestown, like cult, like cult communism, where it's like it is somebody selfishly using communism as a veneer to take advantage of people. I think that is an interesting idea to explore, like somebody who does not actually believe in what they're saying and they're using like communism as a grift to take advantage of like low down people. But the problem is the only major example you get of that is Grace, who they completely fuck up, and then
Which also a complaint about Grace is they make her end up playing into a lot of like head house slave like stereotypes, because again she is the only black character. She starts to feel like Samuel L. Jackson in Django.
When I realized that was happening, I'm telling you, dude, I got so fucking mad. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? Like, oh, I escaped the surface so I could take care of this white woman's child. Thank you. Like, what?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's like,
wake up!
Like, I'm also trying to keep in mind this is a point in time in pop culture where like The Help is still seen as like a really good movie.
As an Oscar winning film. I'm so happy that the director of that went on. Do you know what the director of that went on to go make with Octavia Spencer?
No.
He went on to go make Ma.
Great.
See, so you know what? I think he made up for it in my eyes. Because that movie's funny as hell. Octavia Spencer gets to play a fucking horror movie villain, and she's funny as fuck in that movie. She's like, "Why don't you come party?" And everyone's like, "Ma, we don't want to fucking party anymore. We're so bored." And she's like, "You're gonna fucking party, all right?"
I haven't seen it myself, but it seems like a good time.
It's fun. It's like campy. It's goofy. It knows what it knows what it is, and in that, it's very fun, in my opinion. Anyway, very off topic.
No, that's fine.
It's
far more interesting than any of the moral
I agree
questions
with
in this game. It's fine.
So bad. It's a thing where like Grace as a character pisses me off so much because like there is something really interesting in there about marginalized people being taken advantage of by Jim Jones types to further their own goals, whereas like the person who's being affected thinks that they are contributing to a cause, contributing to something bigger than them, contributing to the collective as a whole, and then thinking that being taken advantage of by a white woman is like what is the way forward, is more progressive than it is. That is interesting. But the problem is then you meet Grace and she's like, I loved being in Sophia's house and taking care of her daughter for her and doing everything for her. Yes. Wow, I guarantee somebody's gonna come through and be like, that's the point of the game. You just don't get it. And it's like, I don't know, man. I don't think that looks too good. I think that's up there with like how they treat fucking Daisy in Bioshock Infinite. Like that's some dog shit writing.
That was literally what I was thinking of. I was like, oh wow, people talk about Daisy, but people do not talk enough about Grace, because Grace is rough. Because I think you could, if you wanted to write my own fanfic, if you wanted to lean harder into the matriarchal angle and lean more into add more women characters. There should not just be two other than the big sisters.
Yes.
Also, like, you could say something about like within feminism, how white women co-opt feminism to be about white women and exclude minority groups, like Grace being treated as other, and actually make that part of the character and not just something that is there but never addressed.
It's too afraid to approach talking about racism in a more direct manner outside of audio logs, where Grace herself just goes like, wow, Ryan's Rapture is actually pretty racist, but Lamb's Rapture, now that's gonna be pretty cool. Now I'm gonna go watch her daughter for her.
Because the thing is, I said that Ma was more interesting than the moral questions in this game, and that's not inherently true if they actually divvied up what killing and not killing does. But then the game would like actually have to have a stance. Like the game would actually have to have an opinion on something.
Yes.
Because there is a person who is a child trafficker that the morally correct thing is to let him live. There is a character who
Yeah.
asks you to kill him, and the moral correct thing is to let him live, which also is antithetical to the game's own design, because when you meet your boyfriend, what's his name? The guy who's Sinclair's like, yo, you should kill me, and then you kill him, and that there's no moral quandary in that. You just kill him.
There's no quandary about it. He's like, my life is fucking over. Kill me, dude. And it's like,
Eleanor just chimes in like, yeah, we don't have enough time. Guess you gotta kill him.
Yeah, like I did that because the lead up to you killing Sinclair is design-wise the exact same as every other moral question in the game, but it's not a question. It is a finite
you have
statement.
to do it.
It's a quest.
It is a quest. Like, it's literally designed the same way.
Being a big daddy is worse than living. Like, you have to kill him. But apparently being a big fucking thing in a tube who's lost their mind is good.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. It's really cool.
Being the source of all of Rapture, being all the source of, like, Rapture's, like, what is it, like, funneling? I forget what exactly Alex did. It was, like, I think in that form he, like, funneled thoughts to Eleanor or something because, like, he had to store all this Atom or something. I don't remember what his full, like, deal was.
Yeah, no,
it was
me neither.
something like he took in all that Atom, I think, to, like, because he had to be, like, the big super being of Rapture that, like, took everybody's thoughts and concerns and worries or whatever, and that turned him into a monster or something.
I believe the term they used was utopian.
Okay.
Yeah, because it was basically,
Which, it's some sort of, I'm going to harness the thoughts of the people of Rapture. And I don't know what they were planning on doing with that.
I think it was supposed to be a thing where, like, with him like that, it would make it where, like, people wouldn't even be focused on anything bad happening. Like, I think it was basically, like, he will bear the sins of people or bear, like, their terrible thoughts.
I see.
So that way society would be more peaceful, but, like, that didn't make any fucking... it didn't work out. And I mean, that, to be fair, that's a flaw in both of their ideas, both Ryan and Lamb, so it's like...
Yeah, and I feel like it can work as just, like... Hey, yeah, this Lamb lady, her plan is really bad, and she just doesn't know it. But it felt more like a setup of, like, oh man, you don't want this to happen to the girl you're supposed to protect.
Which I also I love when they show you the, like, the montage of, like, oh, here's the people you didn't kill. They just show you a shot
laughed
of the
my
tube.
fucking... No,
there's no character model for him. It's just a fish tank that's solid red.
It is. Yeah, can we talk about the fucking... Because I'm assuming y'all got the one where Eleanor is like super fucking virtuous. Like, did you guys?
No, I got the good ending.
You guys got the good ending,
I did not murder any random children, nor did I murder the innocent woman. And the child trafficker and the man asking you to be murdered.
So I got the in between.
Okay.
Because there's three things you can get. You either get the good ending, a choice between the neutral or bad ending, or just the bad ending. So for my playthrough, I killed 2 of them. And I gotta be honest, there was one Big Daddy encounter where it was like, I needed Adam, and I was like, I do not want to do the fucking defense thing. I am so fucking sick of this goddamn game, and I just fucking harvested one of them. I was like, I'm a monster. I'm a piece of shit. I'll take that. But I couldn't do it anymore. And immediately Eleanor was like, and it's just funny as shit to me, because Eleanor was just immediately like, yes, father, I do want to murder people. Murdering people is good. You must do what you can to survive in this life, father. You have taught me this. And I was like, I killed like 3 people. What are you talking about?
It's the same thing with Grace when she's like, I hate you. And then you just walk into a room with her and walk out of it. And she's like, damn, you're really not that bad, huh? Like...
Yeah, that when that happened, I was like, what are you talking about? You hated me like for years.
My girlfriend was sitting next to me while I did that, and she broke out laughing when she heard that. She was like,
it's very funny.
No, like when I walked out of the room and she's like, maybe you're not that bad. Here's some security turrets. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? And I lost my shit. I was like, no fucking way.
What I thought was also funny as well. So Grace has the "you're not that bad," and then like the other two have no payoff for keeping them alive.
no.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's kind of why I just murked them. I was like, nah.
Yeah.
I was
I
like,
don't
these
know if
people
they
are pieces of shit.
It's just ending guide stuff.
I don't know if they expect you to kill them. Yeah, I thought it was funny you talked about the harvest thing. Because at the end of the... So I kind of beat most of the game in like one session.
Yeah.
And I think it was struggling a bit. Because like the last 3 harvest missions I had to do, no enemies spawned.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
It was just
That's
me
wild.
waiting for the meter to fill. It was so funny.
That is really funny. What the fuck?
So,
I'm actually regretting not doing like a full evil playthrough this time just because I wanted to see what it was like.
that's fair.
It is, I'm telling you, it is so fucking funny because like, okay, I guess to be fair, I didn't do a full evil playthrough, but I basically did most of it. And it was like, again, the only one I didn't kill was Grace because she didn't do anything wrong. Like, not really.
No, she's just there.
And so, like, she's just there and she's, like, manipulated and shit. And I was like, I'm not going to kill you. Like, you did nothing wrong to me at all. Like, I get it. Like, I get being mad at a person that you were manipulated into hating. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah,
So,
right.
like, I'm not going to, like, you don't deserve to be punished for that. You deserve to be shown that, like, you know, that person isn't so bad. I don't think she should flip immediately after 10 years of holding a grudge.
Just
like,
immediately like, yeah, I've spent 5 seconds with you. You're all right. Here, have some robots to kill these goons I sent at you. I will also say, I think it's really... okay, maybe this is just it being a video game. But it feels really weird that your moral choices boil down to kill or let live in a game where you are spending several hours murdering people who with no name.
yes.
No. Well, here's the thing. Those people, those are just drug addicts. It's fine. Like, what's wrong with what's wrong with that?
They don't got a name / they're not a small child. So yeah, sorry.
Yeah, they are just disenfranchised homeless people hooked on a fish drug.
But child traffickers, they should live.
I just think that, like, really ultimately the choice between good or evil is, are you killing 99% of the people in Rapture or 100%?
Yeah. Again, the game would have to like have a opinion on something in order to make its morality actually matter. Like the game would have to have some kind of thing to say, and it doesn't.
And I feel a little bad ragging on the morality system. I do agree, it's bad. But it kind of was the trend at the time.
Absolutely. No, this is not a unique issue. It's just what we've done.
This game, to me, sums up, like, the entire problem with morality systems of that time, where, for whatever reason, game devs were trying to do this shit because they did not want their stories to actually take any meaningful stances, but there was always a very clearly intended path that should have just been the story, just through... instead of making like this fake replayability where you just get a worse story if you fuck up or if you just like decide to play true to yourself or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's weird. It's a very bizarre choice. And cuz I'm telling you, like when you get to the fucking end of this game and Eleanor, cuz like it's during the little sister sequence where you when she's talking about like what she's been watching you do, that to me is like the funniest bit of it, because she's like communicating with you through, like with her mind or whatever, and she's like, I've been watching you, father, this whole time, and you know, I've been learning, you know, mother was right about one thing, I've been watching you, and I've learned that survival is important among anything else. I should do things for the joy of it, for the thrill. And I was just like, what? How does that correlate at all?
I also think it's really funny that they make her character so pliable like that. Like she's down for it regardless of what you're doing. Like she doesn't like have her own two legs to stand on and be like, gee, gosh, Dad, I don't know about this murder.
Okay, so like the entire framing of this game being about the relationship between Delta and Eleanor feels bad because they don't flesh out Eleanor at all. Like she's not really a character. She is something to project the players, not even the players' ideologies. She is a vessel to project the players' like actions onto, so she can't be a static character. She is good if you don't kill like major important people. She is bad if you kill everybody. She is neutral if you decide to just kill some people who suck. But neutrality within the game itself is still apparently evil. Like it's apparently just like it's apparently
you are either a paragon of good or scum of the earth.
Like she's either like if you go like the neutral route, or if you get the thing that gives you the choice at the end, she still like goes around just murking little sisters. Like that is a thing that she does. Like she's like, let me in the tanks. I'll harvest them. Don't worry, father. And it's
so funny.
She just teleports around fucking harvesting little sisters. And I was like, I did it once. I did it one time.
And it's so interesting because like as a character, because it's Eleanor is the daughter, right? Eleanor Lamb is, yeah, Sophia is the mom, Eleanor's the daughter. For 90% of that game, she is like almost literally Sleeping Beauty. Like she is just a woman in a bed waiting for a man to come save her. Completely helpless.
Well, not only that, but specifically her quote-unquote father.
Yeah.
Which that's another thing. I think this game is fucking weird in the sense of, like, it feels like by making Sophia Lamb this, like, manipulative, conspiratorial mom, and then making Delta this dad who's, like, the exceptional man, like, Andrew Ryan's exceptional man figure, basically, and making, like, you be so influential on Eleanor as a character and, like, what she believes and thinks. That is fucking weird.
Absolutely.
Especially given that, like, I don't know, within the world of Rapture, I feel like Big Daddies are basically just assigned bodyguards.
Yeah. No, they are assigned bodyguards who die if their charges die.
Yeah, but the game is trying to spin you as this, like, extremely motivational father figure. It's odd.
You've been given the will. You've been given Eleanor's will. Therefore, you are now Ryan's exceptional man. Go out there and fucking do whatever you please. Except
Sam,
if you...
I don't. Maybe you just don't get it. But Delta is just a high value man. He's just, you know, this really like good, like masculine, just high value man for his child, and with his, you know, he has an ex-wife, but it doesn't matter. He's doing it himself. He is career focused.
Gentlemen, what's stopping you from looking like Delta? Really?
Yeah.
The peak male physique.
I'm imagining Delta sitting in, like, one of those fucking, like, MRA fucking podcasts or whatever. One of those fucking, like, alpha male. But, like, he doesn't respond because he doesn't. That's not what he does.
He is a silent protagonist, correct?
He just sits there and just, like, they say some shit and he just looks at them. That's, like, all he does. He's just sitting there fucking huge. And then Eleanor is, like, with him on one of those, just going, like, that's right, father.
You just have like a minute of awkward silence.
It's Delta, two guys, and then just like a table with like 20 women circling around them. Yeah. And so something else I wanted to talk about with specifically the guy who is a child trafficker. That made me like extra frustrated with his role in the game. So for the first like half of the game, I was going through and I was getting all of the little sisters. So by the time I was at Fontaine Futuristics, my build was pretty much done. Like I had like gotten all the plasmids and vigors is Bioshock Infinite. gene tonics that I wanted, and my build was pretty much complete because I was going through and I was doing all the optional little sisters. And then I got to Siren's Alley, where I ended up doing that level for like 2 hours because it took me so long just to like walk around it because you move so slow in this game.
You move
Delta
slow.
moves really, really slow.
Fucking molasses.
And so I went through all of Siren's Alley, and I was talking with Sam, and I ended up doing it for like 2 hours. And I was like, wow, that took way too long. I don't want to do that ever again. And then I get to Dionysus Park, where in order to complete the level, you have to get all of the little sisters.
When I walked in and that happened, I was so fucking mad because like I went out of my way. So after a while, I was like, I do not really care. Like when I settle on like a few good plasmids, I just don't buy all of them because I don't want to. Like, I just don't really care.
No, and the tonics, the tonics are honestly better.
Like, it's a thing where, yeah, like, the tonics are way better, so I just got a bunch of tonic slots, and then I was like, okay, I have ice, I have fire, I have electricity. I'm good. I'm done. I don't need anything else. Like, so I was set for, like, the entire, like, basically, once I upgraded the ice and the fire to, like, level 2, I was set for the rest of the game.
Level 3 ice is so fucked up, though.
It is. Honestly, level 2's is fucked up. It's
level
like...
2 is fucked up, but level 3 is, like, an extra level. So, like, with level 3, you get the charged version on the normal fire, and it's dumb. It's really good.
Yeah, and so, it's a thing where I was like... I was straight up just like, what? Like, I don't want to do these if I don't have to. Unless, like, I did... Okay, a thing that I did like in the game design itself is that with Big Daddies just walking around, you could accidentally fight them. I actually do like that as, like, a tension thing. That was cool.
No, that is interesting.
Yeah, but I didn't want to do the fucking them harvesting the atom. It's so tedious and it's so long. It takes like...
It's a cute gimmick, but I agree that it kind of wears out its welcome.
You can get tonics that speed that up.
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know that, but it is what it is.
Well, I think you have to do it. Like it's like I believe it's a reward for like.
It's a reward for being good and doing them. Yes.
Oh, I see.
If you didn't kill little sisters, Sam.
It was once at the end. It was like the last one.
Child murderer.
Well, I also
Sam.
probably Sam. Keep in mind, I probably did more than you did. Like overall, because I did all of the optional ones.
Oh no, because I got sick of that shit like immediately. I did like 3 of them, and I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. And then I did all of them. And then I got to fucking Dionysus Park, and they were like, hey, you have to do 3 of them. And I was like, fuck you. Yeah,
oh
why?
God, what I felt when I walked into Dionysus Park, and I was literally like, okay, let's just do 1. Maybe I'll do 1. I'm honestly pretty set. And then I hear him like, yep, you got to get all of them. I was like, are you? I'm going to fucking kill you. And then I found out that he's a child trafficker. And I was like, oh my fucking God, I want to fucking kill you. and then I was thinking about it and was like, wait, no, I'm trying to get the good ending. And then I left the building and I was like, wow, I felt like I just did the wrong thing. Like, I felt like I just did the morally wrong thing.
When I killed that guy, I felt vindicated. I was like, I am correct here. I don't give a fuck. You know what? If Eleanor turns out to be a psychopath, I don't care. She's right. I'm right. Like,
I will say, like, I think that's actually... I didn't super care about this game's narrative, because this is the 3rd time I played through it, and I was kind of like, all right, just to talk about bad writing and its impact on the reader. Or the viewer, that whole bit, basically I could feel myself caring even less about the story, because I'm like, okay, you want me to leave this guy alive. I think that's wrong, and I'm now just not buying into your story. I don't really care anymore.
It would be one thing if at the end of the game, Eleanor went like, I don't know why the fuck you left that guy alive. Why did you leave him? Like, it would be one thing if maybe it was a thing where it was trying to be like, even, like, if it was trying to do some fucking middle of the road, like, centrist ass, hey, everybody deserves their fair day in court. And it's like, but he did it though.
He didn't.
But like what rapture court? Like, it doesn't make any sense.
He said he did it.
Weak. Like, he literally admits to doing it. Like, he did on tape. Like,
Throw
you find the
him in
tape.
Rapture Prison. I don't know.
Yeah, that was funny too when you talk to, or when you can find like a tape of Lamb because she gets thrown in jail by Ryan.
Right.
And like she goes like, "Wow, prison sure was crazy." And it's like, "What prison? Where is the prison? The whole place is a prison. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, and I mean, it's actually weird that there's no prison level. I mean, I guess there's that one oh well, there's that one prison
at the
that
end.
when you kill your boyfriend.
I guess that would be. I miss
Yes.
Sinclair. I didn't like him, but he was funny.
You find holding blocks, and that's where you need to find the
that's
code.
right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's the prison.
Yeah.
Sinclair felt silly to me because he just exists as like, hello, yes, I'm here to point you in the next direction. Why am I talking to you? I don't know.
It's like the dressing to me. I love the fact that he's this kind of sleazy, like slimeball dude.
I think you should open that door.
Sport. I say there's a rock in the road. You gotta go open 3 doors and kill 4 big daddies for this rock to move out of the way.
Say, kid, I think you need to research this big guy.
Do you think the intent was for him to be like a bait and switch with like Andrew Ryan's or with Atlas?
I feel like that was the bit.
Yeah, given what the game is about and given that it's basically trying to be the opposite of Bioshock 1, I do think it's supposed to be like a parallel, like a fake out parallel where it turns out that like, no, he did actually...
He's gonna betray you, but nah, he was just trying to help all along.
He is a scumbag, but like he does actually give a shit about you, and it's like, well, if I liked you, I would have probably cared more, but like, you're kind of just the guy that pointed me in the direction of stuff, and then sometimes would be like, oh, sport, you know, you could save those little sisters, but you could also just kill them. And I was like...
Sinclair is a very silly character.
Yeah, it did make it a little more bearable. I don't know. I'm a sucker for character archetypes like that, just very like goofy ass, like, hey kid, like, I don't know. I thought it was funny.
No, totally. I get it. Also, like, you know, because Delta is silent, like, there needs to be, it helps to have a character with voice.
Yeah.
And there needs to be, you know, your Zelda Navi, like, how do we tell you how to get from, or, you know, how do we tell you where point B is, you know, like, where you should be going.
So now that we're more on gameplay, I forgot how aggressive this game's hand-holding is.
Yes, very much so.
Can you turn it off?
I think you can go into the settings. I know you can turn off, like, the hints. I'm pretty sure you can turn off the arrow and stuff, too. I don't remember that.
Yeah, because for folks who are at home and maybe didn't play the game, in Bioshock 2, there's, like, a crazy taxi arrow at the top of the screen that's pointing where you need to go 100% of the time. Like, there is no...
Well, it's not 100%. There are rooms.
I will maybe out myself because there is one section of the game where that arrow is not there, and I think I looped the same room about 10 times before I figured out where to go.
Yeah.
Where is it not there?
I want to say Dionysus Park for a bit.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yes. Well, that's because you're looking for the little sisters and they move around.
And I do like that. I think it's a thing where, but it is also a thing where it kind of speaks to a problem of the way that levels are designed in this era, where like they want to kind of try to do an open-ish sort of thing in the sense that you can move between, you know, like this big area, but they don't design it in a way where it naturally will lead you anywhere unless it's by accident.
No, I feel like the arrow is almost there out of like almost bad level design, but also the map is really bad in this game.
It's terrible. I checked the
map
a few times and I was like, where the fuck even what?
What I think is really funny about the crazy taxi arrow is how it handles elevation, which is it will try to point you in the direction of like a staircase or something. And when you're actually on it, it kind of freaks out and doesn't really know what to do. And I found that very funny. I do appreciate that the game tries to have like little secrets. Like there were a couple bits
Yeah.
where I'd, oh, there's a hole in the wall, and if you look, there's like a gene tonic or a weapon upgrade
totally.
station, and it kind of encourages you to explore. Although late game, I remember seeing a weapon upgrade station, and I was like, cool, I'm committed to melee right now. My drill's upgraded. I don't care about upgrading.
Did you go heavy melee?
Yeah, so
Okay.
Did y'all find the drill specialist gene tonic?
Yes,
Yeah.
I did find that, but I wanted to do a heavy hack and trap playthrough.
Gotcha.
So yeah, okay, actually that's a good question. How did everyone want to play the game? Because I wanted to do hack and traps. Deidra, you wanted to do melee, and then Sam, how did...
I was like, I'm just going to upgrade my two favorite guns. I'll do some traps here and there, but overall I'm just going to be shooting and plasmiding. I like barely used the drill ever, unless the game made me do it.
Man, we really are different.
Yeah, this is why we are perfect podcast hosts.
So I have to ask then, which two were your favorite weapons?
I loved the minigun especially once it was fully upgraded, because you got like the ricochet bullets.
Yeah.
And then I loved the shotgun once it was upgraded, because you could shoot like 6 shots.
Shotgun.
Yeah.
And you could shoot like electric bullets. Everything else was kind of bad, except for like the grenade launcher.
When I was using guns, I mostly used the rivet gun.
I use a rivet gun a good amount too, but that's because I like the trap rivets. The first Big Daddy I fought, you know the one where there's... The first Big Daddy you fight, there's like a partition in the room, and I just ran in a circle and shot trap rivets around that partition, so he was just chasing me in a circle and getting blown up. It was very fun.
Yeah, so the drill specialist is a somewhat late game-ish tonic that locks you out of using all of your firearms. The only weapons you can use are the drill, the hacking tool, and the camera. And only... you can kill people with the hacking tool. It's got the sentries. But what it does in exchange is your plasmids get way cheaper. So I started the game, and I believe that stacks with the other plasmid cost reduction.
Yes, that is
tonics.
important to note. That is actually neat about the tonics, is that they do stack. So if you have like Hacker's Delight and Hacker's Delight 2, you can run them together to get like a faux Hacker's Delight 3.
Yeah. I started the game because you don't really have a lot of customization early on, just because you don't really have weapons and gene tonics and plasmids.
No, the beginning of the game is very narrow.
And I was very much just like, yeah, I'll use guns and whatever's there. And I got Drill Specialist, and I was like, okay, that's neat. I don't know that I want to commit to this. And then somewhere along the line, I realized I hate the gunplay in this game.
It feels bad.
Shooting things just doesn't feel good.
I'm gonna be real. By the end of the game, I regretted my choice a little bit. I was like,
and
I was just like, I like the guns that I liked, but I was just very like, wow, I'm kind of over this gunplay. It does not feel good at all.
A lot of the weapons just felt like really inaccurate to me, and it was just kind of frustrating. So I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna like use plasmids and the drill. I think the drill is kind of the thing that saves this game mechanically for me. I love that it just thinking about melee combat in games, there's sort of like oftentimes melee is a more economical way to play. You might be spending more on like health and healing and stuff like that, but you aren't worrying about ammo in a game like this. So I really like that they have the fuel system. You have your like strong basic attacks that don't cost anything, and that's cool. But you can also spend fuel to really pile on the damage, so that makes you have to care about resources still. I think that's neat. The drill charge...
it is cool to attach a resource like that to your melee. Sorry.
While still having an economical option. I really like that. The drill charge is the coolest part of this game for me. I fucking love the drill charge so much. To the point where in the early game, since I had played this game before, I was just waiting to get it for like the game to open up for me. It's fast, it's snappy, it does a shitload of damage. It's so fun.
So I wish the game opened up a little bit earlier, because by the end of it, I was enjoying what I was doing, the plasmid that I focused on was the security bot one. Because did either of you look at that at all?
Not at all.
I don't
Okay.
remember.
So what's cool about the security bot one is that the first tier of it is you throw the orb at a robot, at a some kind of security bot, either the flying one, the turrets, and it takes it over for you for a limited time, and then you can go up to it and hack it if you want to take it over permanently. But what's cool is when you get the 2 and 3 version of it, you can charge it to just create a security bot. So even if there aren't any around, you can just start cranking out these secondaries. And so that's what I was doing, is I had like a shotgun or the machine gun, and I was just creating robot buddies to fly around and shoot stuff with me.
That's cool, because I mean, my favorite part of the combat was like, I really loved like using the hacking tool constantly to just fucking like take over cameras and take over fucking like sentry bots and shit. So like maybe I should have done that, but I don't know. I still had a good time with what I was doing, so it's fine.
No, I recommend a hack heavy play, because like I had Hacker's Delight 1 and 2 attached, so I was getting a decent chunk of health, and I think
It gives Eve as well.
Eve, yeah.
I was also running
getting a
Hacker's
decent
Delight.
chunk, just for hacking my stuff. I also had the red one that lets you take over enemies, but that one's a little more fickle. That one's a little more situational.
Yeah, that one, I feel like I tried it a couple times, and like there were some situations where I feel like it helped and it worked, and some where I feel like it just didn't at fucking all.
I did start using Hypnotize in my place. So when you get level 2, the charged version turns something fully into an ally instead of just attacking whatever's near it. And they'll even follow you around and fight stuff. And I did like it. My problem was at some point, I was just relying on freezing things and drill charging them, and that was solving pretty much every combat encounter for me.
Yeah. I mean, when I killed Sinclair, I literally just walked into the room and I had like 3 flying turrets just shooting at him, and I just kind of like knocked him once.
I froze him and punched him in the face.
Yeah.
Can I say a cool thing I like about how that sequence is designed actually? So
Absolutely.
I realized, because I went in and I got the door code, and then I saw that there were a few other ways. I noticed there's a couple ways you can get him to open that door. And I thought that was really fucking cool. So either you can get the code, you can go around and there's a little pool of oil he's next to, and you can set that on fire, and then he'll just run out. Or you can, there's another one where if you go like, I think all the way around some of the cells, there's a little like door panel that you can hack, and then you can just hack the door open instead.
Even though I'm not going to say I loved playing this game all of the time, while I think the narrative and writing of it is clumsy, I think the gameplay is generally a step up from the previous game.
Oh, absolutely.
Having not played Bioshock 1 for years, I think the fact that you can dual-wield weapons and plasmids is intuitive and makes complete sense. I like that there's some build variety with gene tonics and plasmids, in terms of allowing you to cater your playstyle to how you want to. The research camera. I really like what they did with research in 2 compared to the first game.
I did not use the camera at all, so I'm interested to hear what's going on.
Really? I maxed out every single research track.
Oh shit, nice.
So I guess I'll explain it because I'm the one that did it. So to create a point of comparison, in Bioshock 1, you just got like a photography camera as opposed to a video camera. And the way you research is, okay, oh shit, this is an enemy I haven't maxed out yet. I'm just going to spam pictures at them until it stops giving me research, and then I kill them. In 2, you find an enemy you haven't maxed out the research on, you start filming, and then you just fight them while the video is rolling. And it has an almost Devil May Cry... This would explain why I like it. It has an almost Devil May Cry-esque thing where the more different things you do to the enemy, the further your research advances.
Yeah, that is what I heard. It's a thing where it encourages you to like... Or not what I heard. I was playing the game. It literally tells you to experiment while you're doing it, which I actually think is like, I thought that was pretty cool. I just didn't care enough to experiment with the system more. That was how I felt. I was just like, oh, whatever. But that is cool, and it does seem like, I mean, this whole game seems like it is designed in a way where it is encouraging you to play around with different things and see what fits best for you. And I think that's a really cool way to approach the design of this. Like, it never feels like nothing is like unviable.
off the table.
Like,
totally.
Nothing ever feels off the table. It feels like if you want to specialize in a specific direction, you can. And if you don't want to bother with it at all, you never have to. And I think that's cool. I think that's a good way to approach this.
Mm-hmm. I really appreciate it when games are like, here's a bunch of tools. If you don't like this tool, cool. Don't have to use it. You like this one? Awesome. You can focus on it. I'm a big fan of that.
So what I almost didn't dig that, just comparing it to, especially with the ammo, the different guns, ammos, because for me, what it felt like is it gives you enough tools to try different things, but nothing that you could like super hard commit to. Like, again, I think the game is really narrow up until like the late game, and I feel like the camera incentivizes you to try a bunch of different stuff, which is cool, but I also feel like it just kind of highlighted how narrow the game was, just because it gives you a lot of options that you can try, but nothing you can really focus on. Like, I felt like in the fight encounters, I wanted to go really trap heavy, but I couldn't, because they all kind of became big arenas where I didn't get as much of a chance to lay down traps in a way that really mattered.
That was kind of my issue with traps as the game went on. It felt very much like, am I supposed to just place these on the ground? Am I supposed to...
Yeah, like the game doesn't give you a chance to really like thoughtfully set them up.
Yeah.
You just kind of throw them down and run away, and it's gameplay wise, it's not really that different than just standing and shooting.
Yeah, exactly. And so, and for me, it became a thing of like, again, I overall do really like the gameplay design of this game. Like, I do think that it's cool. I think this game desperately needs a fucking New Game Plus. If any game needed it, it's this one, because that beginning game needs more just combat variety in a lot of different ways. I think having the tools and everything from like what you've gathered would have been way more fucking interesting and way more fun to see how like taking that into a second playthrough would have been. Like, if you're gonna go all out and do shit like that, reward people by letting them fucking run it again with that build. Like, I don't know.
I would agree that I think the build making side of it, I think it's fair to say that it's a little shallow. I mostly applaud it for having what it has, but I also agree that it takes a while to get going.
Yeah, like, I feel like it's one of those things where I kind of wish the game on a gameplay front was longer, even if I wasn't fully enjoying the entire experience, just because you would have been able to play more with those tools. But I mean, honestly, by the time, again, you hit Dionysus Park and the game's like, hey, fight 3 big daddies, I was like, oh, you guys ran out of time or ideas or something, because this isn't really like a level. It's more like an excuse to get at them in case you weren't doing it. Like,
that's an issue with a game with no bosses, is it doesn't give you a really good challenge to test your unique build around. Like, I didn't get a chance to, in a really focused way, test how well my hack and trap build was going, because I had no like measuring stick to put that up against. It's just different volumes of rooms.
I think you could make an argument for big daddies and then certainly big sisters as like pseudo bosses, but I also get what you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, no, that's very fair. And yeah, it's just there's no bespoke designs that give you a specific area and individual to face up against.
At the end of the day,
should have been forced to fight Tube Guy.
Tube Guy, man.
Yes.
That's a boss fight waiting to happen. I agree.
I don't know what he looks like, so I just kind of imagine MODOK.
So I've seen because there is a model in there. Like, there is a like, I've seen the character model. That shit is fucking, it's pretty good. It's pretty creepy.
Okay, cool.
I wish they let you see it better.
So one thing I will say about Bioshock as a whole, I know there's rumors and there's hearsay about a Bioshock 4, but in all honesty, more than another Bioshock game, just give me the shitty Star Wars hotel, but it's Bioshock themed. I don't care. I don't want another video game. That's the reason I picked this, is because I wanted to be back in Rapture.
Yeah.
That's the only reason.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, just give me a theme park. Give me some kind of experience where I can walk around and see Rapture. That'd be great.
Let me inject plasmids at the local Rapture themed bar, please.
Yeah.
Serve me the electro bolt.
Yeah, give me a fish in a red sauce.
Who knows? Maybe they'll do it like they're doing the Dragon Ball theme park or whatever.
Is that a thing?
Yes, it's in
Okay.
I think it's in Saudi Arabia.
What is that even going to be?
You go.
Are they gonna like fill the sky with chemicals and make it green?
I fucking hope so. That'd be so funny. Oh my god, that would be so fucking like. What are you guys doing? What are you doing? I kind of wonder. I bet they're gonna make Capsule Corp like a restaurant or a gift shop or something.
Something like that.
That's
But
my
yeah,
guess.
that's all I want. That's what I want from Bioshock. We have good immersive sims.
Yeah.
Just give me Rapture as a physical space that I could interact with.
I think I agree that, like, if nothing else, the vibes of Bioshock are cool.
Yeah.
2 is kind of more of that.
No, yeah, that's the only thing that's the only like complaint against Bioshock 2 that I don't understand is that when it came out, people were like, "Oh gosh, it's just Rapture again." Like,
Yeah.
oh great, I get more Rapture. Awesome.
It's always funny when looking back at reviews like this, like of sequels to like really like pop off games. It reminds me of like when Silent Hill 3 came out and everyone was like, it doesn't push the genre forward. And it's like, you got Peak right here, and you're going like, oh, but it's not like as revolutionary as Silent Hill 2. And it's like, shut the fuck up. You're getting more of a good thing. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Now with Bioshock 2, I don't feel like it's Peak, but being back in Rapture is definitely like a very distinct like thing. And it is cool that like they did go to the effort to not only like, you know, kind of just make it feel very like similar to the first one in terms of vibes and aesthetics, but that even though it's bad, or I think it's worse, they did try pushing things in a different direction. I can respect that.
Okay, here's a question. They did it as a segment. How would you feel about a Stray-sized game, like Stray, the cat game,
Yeah.
as a little sister?
I wouldn't be interested.
I
Wouldn't be interested?
I don't know if you were, because like the little sisters don't like fight.
No, but that's why I say Stray.
Yeah, Stray,
specifically.
because like I guess you don't.
Yeah,
really fight
it would just be like exploring.
Yeah, would it ever break reality?
Would you see it through their eyes?
Yeah, because like would it be like?
Yeah,
it's
that's
like
what I'm thinking.
this-
I guess it would be like my quick idea is like it would be like an expanded version of it does break eventually, like occasionally, and you see what's actually going on.
Yeah.
But that'd be really tricky, and you'd have to have a Bioshock game be written delicately for like once in your life.
I think it makes for a really good set piece. I wouldn't want to spend a couple hours on it.
That's fair. I think of that because it's in Bioshock 1 where you do suit up as a big daddy for a second, and then
Yeah.
obviously in Bioshock 2 you are a big daddy. So I was just thinking about that.
I am so curious to see how Minerva's Den is eventually, because I've heard that Minerva's Den is like, if you're playing Bioshock 2, you like have to play this at some point.
No, I've heard Minerva's Den is really good. I just forgot about it when I assigned this. Otherwise, I would have also said, "Hey, let's do Minerva's Den." But I just forgot about it, so
Yeah,
that's on me.
Yeah, it is what it is. I mean, who knows? We could just have it be a thing that we assign at some point in the future anyway. It's not like it's off the table.
Yeah, we could do a catch-up thing one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, for the most part, I think that's my feelings on Bioshock 2. I enjoyed the gameplay. Wish it opened up earlier.
Yeah.
Wow, this game story has a lot of problems, and I don't think people talk about those problems enough.
I genuinely, my feelings are pretty much, yeah, the gameplay is like solid. I fuck with it. But like the story is so bad, in my opinion, that I don't know. I don't really get why this is seen as like an underrated classic if you're not talking about the gameplay. If you're like,
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
I don't see what people see in this as like, oh, this is like the best one in the series, when like, I don't know. I think that again, I think this is me seeing it because the way I approach games is like a mix of narrative and gameplay. And so
Yeah.
if you undervalue that narrative to like chase gameplay purely, and I mean, if you want to do that, that's fine. But if you're going to even try at all and it's just dog shit and I have no reason to really care about playing through the whole thing, I don't know. Because like one has worse gameplay, I think, but like the story from what I remember of when I last played it, which is years ago, to be very fair, the first story is just more interesting. It's also funnier because it's just making fun of Ayn Rand.
Yeah.
Like, it's literally just saying Ayn Rand is a dumbass. Here's why she's a dumbass. And then just that's like the whole game.
The whole game is kind of just like, yeah, libertarianism is pretty fucking stupid, actually.
Yeah, like it's like if libertarians got what they wanted, they would probably die. Like that's what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's not subtle at all. Andrew Ryan and Atlas, like it is.
Yeah.
So it's a thing where like I feel like that game had a much more pointed direction, and making a sequel to that game that was so self-contained and so pointedly about something specific, it's hard to follow that up with this, where it just doesn't feel like it commits to anything. And by the end, you're kind of just going, like what were you trying to overall do? Like,
I feel like the premise of a follow-up is kind of okay, because I do agree that the idea of like a Jim Jonesy cult figure kind of trying to pick up the pieces and like really exploit these people, I think that's sound. I just don't know that it really delivers on that premise.
Yeah. No, yeah. And that's basically, I feel the same. It's a thing where like I think the premise and the idea is really good, but the problem is so much of it is so underdeveloped that you just don't care. Like, it's hard, like, because for a story like that to work, you have to care about the people in the cult.
Oh, totally.
You have to give a shit, and they have to feel like real, genuine people. And the problem is that the way this game is written, you get like 5 minutes with everybody, and there's like one sympathetic character out of like all of the people like in the family or surrounding the family that isn't Eleanor. Like, Grace is like a sympathetic character, but like she doesn't get enough, and she's written so terribly that it just makes me mad.
As it should.
So it's like, yeah, so it's just very like, okay.
Yeah, so with all of that, I guess we will call Bioshock 2 there.
Bioshock 2 deserves to exist because the drill charge is the best move that the Bioshock franchise has ever had, and that's all I'll say on the matter.
Bioshock 2, more like Bioshock poo, haha. fucking got him.
So before we wrap things up, before I have Sam tell us our next game, a little bit of housekeeping, things to announce. Now that we have done a full round of everyone hosting and a whole 1 month break to get the feel for what the show is actually going to be like, we are officially going forward with we have a Patreon, and what the core focus of that is going to be is if you have been listening to the show and maybe you want the episodes to go a little bit longer. I say that with this episode encroaching 2 hours. It's going to be our longest one. The raw audio is 2 hours. This is going to be our longest episode. But if you want a little more of the Questlog Club, and if you want a little different of the Questlog Club, all you have to do is go to our Patreon if you want. Go to our Patreon, give us $1, and you will get to hear the side quests. So side quests is going to be a new thing we're doing alongside whatever game we are playing, the main quest. We are going to have something else. This can be a movie, a short anime, a little bit of a manga, anything. We're going to keep it very varied and fun and easy to complete in a month that we can also talk about. And also, we are going to keep the side quests completely separate from the main episode. So if you just want to hear us talk about video games and, maybe you just don't want to give to a Patreon, that's fine. You are going to get the full conversation about whatever game we are playing for free. That is going to be out everywhere. But if you want the little bit extra, if you want the side quest, that is there. That is optional content.
Yeah, like, importantly, like, the core, so, like, what we've been doing so far, that's the same. That's not changing. You do not have to pay to get episodes or anything like that. It's just...
And you're not going to get shorter conversations on the main game.
We're not cutting, like, anything regarding the game or anything before that. Like, we're not cutting anything out. It's
we're
just
still
going to
spend half an hour talking about what we did previously. All that, nothing's going to change.
Exactly. You'll get all those great combos. it's only going to be the side quests are going to be a new, like, optional on the Patreon exclusive type thing.
Yeah, and again, it's all the tiers are going to be the same on the Patreon. We might later down the road add one tier that does something a little bit special, but that's like a big question mark.
Yeah.
But as of right now, anything we do on Patreon is going to give you the same amount. Right now, it's just the side quests. And if you want to go subscribe to the Patreon right now, you will actually get the first piece of Patreon exclusive content. That would be us deciding the first side quest. And the way we're going to do that is we each pick 3 things. We put it on a wheel, we spin the wheel, and then we go for that. There's a little bit more to it that I don't want to explain right now because it's kind of convoluted. Mm-hmm. But it's not really convoluted. It's just convoluted to explain, not to perform.
Yeah, not to actually do. It's more confusing than it actually is. Like,
it's really simple. But
talking about using a lot of words to explain simple concepts.
We're gonna play. We're gonna have to play Chronobind from Final Fantasy 13-2 to determine who gets. No.
So actually the way it works is we're all gonna play jacks. So we're gonna bounce a ball and then we're gonna grab a bunch of jacks and each one has a letter and whatever word we spell out, that's what we're gonna do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're really fucked if we don't spell anything.
If we lose a jack, it's over.
Yeah, it's done.
Yep.
It's done.
So with all that being done and said, yes, we are launching a Patreon. There's going to be fun extra side quests. Again, it's very important. This is side stuff. This is not affecting the main show at all. It is extra stuff. And I think that just about covers it. I can't think of anything else.
Yeah, I can't think of anything to add. Like, that's pretty much...
Okay.
Oh, actually, important thing. The RSS feed is fixed. So...
Oh, yeah.
When we
so
when we upload episodes, it should be on, like, everything at this point. Like...
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure it just sends it out to like a thing, and then like it's on Spotify. It should be on like Apple Podcasts or whatever the fuck that's called. Like it should be everywhere. I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure that's how that works.
Who knows?
Who knows?
But with all of that aside, Sam, what is going to be our next game?
See, so I was thinking about this, right? I was sitting there and I was playing Bioshock 2. You know, and I was thinking to myself, I can't believe you've done this to me. Bioshock 2, of all games. You know, so I sat there and I thought to myself and I said, what's a game that I could, pull from the vault, pull from the old. And I sat there and I realized there's something special I can pull. You know about a little game called Zone of the Enders for the PlayStation 2?
I do know about a little game called Zone of the Enders for the PlayStation 2. I'm actually looking at my Zone of the Enders 2 Collector's Edition on a bookshelf right now.
I had no fucking idea I had no fucking clue you had that. What the fuck? When did you get that?
Oh, I got this like a decade ago.
Okay.
I have Zone of the Enders 2 Collector's Edition for the Xbox 360 that comes with an art book, and Zone of the Enders 1.
Okay, that's good to know. I'm glad you...
I have not played it.
Okay, I was about to ask, like, have you already played it? Because if you have, I was about to go fuck and then pick something else, but no.
Nope.
So then we're gonna do Zone of the Enders, but I'm adding a special little caveat, if you'll allow me to indulge a tiny bit.
Sure, yeah.
So the audience does not have to do this part. I would be making this a thing that you two have to do as a part of it. So I've beaten Zone of the Enders 1 like 3 times, and I would say at this point, the way it has been described, the way I would describe it, it is like a Bizarro World adaptation of, actually not even a Bizarro World. It's like an adaptation of like the first 2 episodes of 0079 Gundam. So I thought it would be interesting as an addition to the conversation to add on the first 2 episodes of 0079 Gundam.
Okay.
Okay,
just the first 2 episodes of 0079. Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, because it's a thing where like I'm not going like watch the whole show like tomorrow over the month, like, because that would be insane. But just I think the first 2 episodes reflect kind of like what this game is doing. And I feel like it kind of, not to directly compare it, I do think it's also doing things on its own as well, but it is interesting what it does parallel and what it does kind of reflect. And I could be totally wrong. Maybe this won't add much to the convo, but I think it could be interesting. So I'm going to add that.
No, let's do it.
Cool. So audience, you don't have to do this part if like if you're wanting to play the game but you just don't give a fuck about watching that, you don't have to. This is just a fun thing more so for us. But you can, if you, the audience, want to also do it as well, I recommend it. Zone of the Enders 1, just for platform clarity as well, is on PlayStation 2, PlayStation 3, and Xbox 360. I think you can play the HD collection on back compat. I'm pretty sure you can play it on back compat on an Xbox. I have no clue if you can play it with Sony's like streaming service thing. I think you can, but I don't know. So, but those are the major options. And then emulation for any of those is an option as well, as long as it works for you.
I just might bring out my Xbox into the living room. Dang. Getting in the big boy chair.
I spent the past couple months modding consoles, so I'm gonna play this shit on a real ass PS2. This will be my first real PS2 playthrough of this game. Okay. So
I can't believe we're in the second real episode of this, and I'm being forced into mecha content. I hate it here.
It all comes back. It all comes back around.
Well, don't worry. Well, now, but don't forget, you go after Sam, so you can gear up some real shit. You can
counter.
I don't want to be mean. I don't want to be a villain.
That sounds like sarcasm to me.
Hey, you know what, Deidra? I think you should do what you feel in your heart.
Okay.
Do what you feel is right, and then I'll get you back.
What do I feel is right? We'll have to find out next month.
We will see next time. So until then,
we'll definitely see.
We will play Zone of the Enders. 3, 2. Fuck. That was not a joke. Okay. 3, 2, 1.